What's going on, y'all? So listen, girl. Let's just get into it. And I'm finna be raw. I'm finna be honest. I'm finna tell the truth, okay? I don't care how you sit and how you like it. But facts are facts, all right? You like who you like, but we just gotta be real, okay? But let's just get down to it. We are here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16, episode 5, about last night. Now, girl, this was a good episode. And sadly, this was Kenya's episode that she has departed us. And honestly, after looking at it, I can understand why they said, girl, bye. But at the same time, they should have at least suspended Britt at the same time. I'm just going to be honest. It should have been an equal core. But I do feel as though Kenya did a little bit more. Okay, Kenya a little bit more. I would explain. I know somebody said, no, she did a lot more. Okay? And trust me, I am not on Britt's side. Because let me tell you something. It got till 7:55 in the episode. It is hot up in here. How many degrees is it? Jesus, it's 41 degrees. Why is it so hot? Is my heat up? I'm going to have to turn that thing off. It's going to have to go off for the rest until fall. I'm going to just have to be in a jacket or something. I don't care because this is a little bit warm. But anyway, what was I saying? It got until 7:55 that I was 100% on Kenya's side. And then at 7:56, when she started making that speech at the end, I said, God damn, Kenya. And I have always had this stance. Okay? But we'll get into it. And we're not about to really be on here that long because the episode really was the aftermath about what happened, and they threw a couple of scenes in there here and there. Angela and I like that little scene, Angela and her daughter. So she got an older daughter, right? And she was staying with her mama, which is Angela's mama. That's not what I'm talking about. She was staying, they got a close relationship, Angela and her daughter. But Angela brought her mama a house, right? And Angela's mother and her sister is staying at the house, right? And so her daughter was also staying at that house. Now, the daughter and the mama got into it, mostly the daughter and Angela's sister got into it because the daughter, Amari, she wanted to borrow the car that Angela gave her mom. Let her mama borrow whatever. Okay, cool. And, I guess some stuff went down, and then Angela's sister came out of her neck and called her a demon and all that stuff or whatever. And, she felt some type of way because she always had a good relationship with her grandmother, but her grandmama didn't come to her defense or whatever. And so, Angela's like, because she was wondering what was the issue and how come y'all not, cool right now. And I'm just like, that's messed up. Amari was like, you should stop supporting them or whatever. What you gonna do? Like, come on. And I get where Angela coming from. Her mama is dealing with bipolarism. She's been dealing with it for the majority of her life since she was a kid. And I'm talking about Angela, because she said around 8 years old, that's when her mother wound up getting on medication for it or whatever. Then she said that her mother eventually said that she was cured from it, or she cured herself from it. I truly don't feel like, I don't think that that's even a possibility, but okay, you probably had it under control, but you're not cured from it. All these little incidents where y'all having these little fallout, it don't seem like you're cured from it, but that's neither here nor there. I just really want to bring this up because when the daughter said, you should say something, you should do something, you should cut them. You the one that's helping them financially and all this stuff. And then they coming at me like this. I'm your daughter. Listen. You could feel like this a little harsh, and you could feel like Amari was trying to do, being a little bratty or whatever. I don't feel that way. Because had that been my mom and her sisters, listen, I already told y'all, my mama cut my auntie off. Okay, after that's her sister. After they got into it, and she said some things that was just very unforgivable. And not only did she say some things, she also physically harmed my mom, and she cut her off. She cut her off. The lady died. Unfortunately, may God rest her soul. She passed away, and my mama didn't feel not a thing. And if she did, she didn't tell us, okay? She never brings her up. And she wasn't bringing her before that. And let me tell you something, if she could do that just because she did something to her, my mama damn sure would have cut all their asses off if they would have said something or did something to her kids. Okay, because one thing about it, two things for sure, you're not going to speak ill of her kids no matter what. So I was with Amari. What you going to do, mama? Shit. What are you going to do? But anyway, it was another issue with her, the fact that, Amari got married. They got eloped, and she didn't tell her mother, and she found out 4 months later from the grandma. Angela mama told her, and she felt some type of way. And I get where Angela is coming from. You have to look inside. Angela, you could be upset. I feel that because, you feel like you probably got this real close relationship with your daughter, and you didn't know anything about this, and this is probably something that you never would have expected, right? And you would probably think that your daughter can come to you and tell you any and everything. And then you probably in your own mind had it thought out like, I can't wait till my child get married. I can't wait to see her walk down the aisle and all of this stuff, whatever, woo, woo, woo. Even if she decided that that's not what she wanted to do, it's the simple fact that she didn't tell you that, hey, we're not going to do all this. We're about to elope. And she never told you anything about the marriage or anything, right? So I get that. I get being in your feelings about it. But at the end of the day, you also got to look into yourself and see, why did she feel like she didn't need to tell you? And she had to keep that a secret for 4 months before she could even tell you. And she still didn't tell you. It was the grandma that told her 4 months later. You have to look into yourself and see what's really was going on, why she felt the need to keep that from you. And that's all I got to say about that. So let's just get on to this whole situation about last night, okay? Listen, Shamia invited Angela over to the crib. They cool. You know what? Props off to them. Because this is probably the first time in a long time that we done seen somebody that got into it real quick, and then the very next day they made up. And it seemed like it's going to work, okay? Because honestly, they ain't had no reason to be pissed off at each other. They ain't had no reason to butt heads like that. That was a cool button head, all right? It went a little bit further, but it was still even kill. It was still even kill. It had a little comedy aspect to it. And they both realized, it didn't need to go that far, whatever, and all that stuff. It is what it is. We ain't got no reason to have no beef with each other. They both came to that conclusion. So that's how come that works. She invited that lady to the house. And also invited Britt. Now, I'm sitting here like, girl, Britt, what the fuck you gotta say? Now, let me look at some of the tweets that I said when Britt was there. Because Britt, at the end of the day, listen, last week I was looking at Tammy Talk's video for the episode. Shout out to Tammy Talk. Oh, turn the one on. Shout out to Tammy Talks, okay? Y'all go give her a look, go give her a subscribe. Because, oh my goodness, when she opened up her review and she said, you did all this over a hug. You crashed out over a hug. And you know what? When you put it in that perspective and you say it so poignant and so clear like that, you got to sit there and be like, she did do all of this over a hug or lack thereof in her mind. Like, girl, what is the issue? It was just too much. It was too much. I said, that is psychotic. What I feel went down, Britt literally watched this show just like us. She was at home watching all of the goddamn seasons, okay? She was watching them. She saw how Kenya was, and once she got on here, she thought that, she needed to be prepared just in case Kenya tried to come for her or whatever, and it didn't give that. It didn't get that. It literally, Britt, you came on as a fan. That's what you was acting. And you was acting like, oh, she ain't giving me the attention that I deserve. Girl, you got to earn that attention. Because, bitch, I wouldn't have given you the attention either. I don't even know who the fuck you are. And then last week, Kenya was saying, because we all was like, why did this jump so far? How did it escalate the way that it did? Kenya on Twitter said, there is no other context. It literally went from the way that you saw it. I don't know this girl. We had no interaction to even get to that point. We don't know each other. And I said, that's really crazy. That is crazy. And see, Britt, you put up a little post talking about something. You still here. That's well and good. You still here. But for how long? But people ain't all on your side. Okay, the people ain't all on your side because you did the absolute most and it made no sense whatsoever. It made no sense whatsoever. You and Kenya could have had an Angela and Shamia type of situation, but you took it above and beyond and out of this universe. We still trying to figure out what the heck happened. Okay, so let me go back to my tweets. She get over there. Was Kelly over there? No, it was Angela. Angela said she was the one that wrote that question. So I said, oh, Angela, you was the one being messy? She said, yeah, I was a little bit because, Britt ain't got no problem with me. And, I said, okay, they did just go in the beginning of the episode. They went out, they was at the park, and Britt was, talking about her issues that she had or she felt that she had with Kenya for no reason. Okay, you ain't had no real reason with Kenya. I don't care what nobody say. Kenya did absolutely nothing to that lady to deserve any of what she did to her. Okay, that blow up, the remark, nothing like that. All right, and so therefore, Britt, Angela trying to be a girl's girl, trying to be a friend to her, she put it out there because, Britt was giving her grievances about the situation. And since, she trying to be a friend, she said, let me just broach the subject. Girl, why you don't like Britt? Bitch, so I said, damn, Angela, you the one that popped all this out. So this is your fault. And, so at this point, Britt gonna say, because Angela also, she was like, damn, that whole situation messed me up. I got into it with somebody. And she was like, what happened? She was like, girl, the people at the restaurant, they was pissed off. They was pissed off like, what, is this what y'all do? And I said, this is the first time that we ever really heard in my recollection that they cut up on the goddamn show and the people from the restaurant actually reprimand them and be upset, and they actually tell us on the show. And I was like, that's good, because I know. Y'all came there, they couldn't even put their shit on the map, but y'all come there and have some goddamn stupid argument. And here go Britt. Oh my God, who do I need to apologize to? Bitch, you need to apologize to everybody. And I mean everybody, okay? That was one. Then, she was like, this whole situation, she just kept on saying that she's not like that. Even Kelly was trying to tell Kenya, no, I think she was telling Kenya, whoever the hell it was that she was talking to. Kelly was talking to some people. I can't even remember. Y'all can put it there. Was it Kenya or was it Porsha? I think it was Kenya. Either way, she said, girl, she not really like that. That's not the person that she know. And I'm sitting here like, I don't care. Kelly, listen, this is not the time to tell a person that has been offended by another person that person is not like that, okay? Because that lady technically was verbally attacked and then threatened, okay? I don't care what you say. She was threatened, all right? Whether you feel like it was a big threat, a minimal threat, a smaller threat, it was there, okay? The implications were there. Let's not be obtuse and let's not be dense about it, all right? And yes, it was said in the heat of the moment. It really was said in the heat of the moment. And so, at this point in time, and I give Britt that. She probably wasn't thinking about that for real. She just got herself so goddamn worked up that she let that shit come out. Okay? She let that shit come out. And we've all been there. We've been in the heat of the moment and we said some stuff that we want to take back, but we can't. And listen, if I said it, I said it, bitch. That's just me. But, yeah. So you got that, right? And, Britt, she want to apologize and all that shit. Bitch, let me tell you something. You already show who you are. There is no apology that can take that away, especially with a Kenya. Kelly, you trying to say the same thing about, oh, that's not who I know. That's not how she is. Baby, that's what she showed me. You get one good time. You get one good time before I don't give a damn, especially if I don't know who you are. I don't know you. Kenya don't know you. So she don't owe you she don't owe you the space to even sit down and listen to your apology. Okay? Your apology, your explanation, she don't owe you none of that. All right? Not saying that you was trying to get it, but she ain't had to. Okay? You came in real wrong, and I would never be able to trust you like that, because why are you popping off like that? Some of y'all can pop back, and I just can't. That'd be a major turn off, and that'd be in my mind all the time like, bitch, I don't fuck with this bitch, okay? And that's just what it is. And Kenya is that way. Meanwhile, Um, you got Angela, girl, Porsha met up with Britt. Okay. And what I got out of that situation, first of all, the fact that Porsha understood exactly what the hell was going on and was the one making sense in this whole situation between her and Britt and trying to reason with Britt. Britt basically is saying, I shouldn't have said that I had a pistol, but I wasn't going to do anything to her, right? And that wasn't mean that I intentionally meant to come at her and say that I was going to pew her or whatever. But so it's like almost she didn't get why she would be upset as much and feel like she was threatened. And Porsha had to say, well, if you take it out in your mouth or whatever and you end this situation and you going back and forth, you literally are going back and forth with Kenya. So if you say that in context while you're going back and forth with Kenya, of course she's going to believe that you're talking about her. We're all going to believe that you're talking about her because you have the beef yourself with Kenya. And you said it in the midst of you going off on Kenya. So therefore, yes, she's going to feel like you're threatening her. That's just what it is. And I said, God damn, Porsha. I mean, I had to get that to Porsha right in there. But you got that going on. And Kenya did invite the girls to her opening, but she didn't disinvite Britt. And I feel like she did it on purpose because she wanted to put her on blast. I don't think she was expecting for Britt to leave. She wanted Britt to sit her ass there and to see what she was going to do. Because, bitch, you humiliated me, so let me humiliate you. It was a tit for tat situation. But I think, in my honest opinion, Kenya took it a little bit too far. Okay? She took it a little bit too far. She should have stopped before she got to that last slide. Everything else was fine with me. Everything else was fine with me. Bitch, let me tell you. But anyway, before we get there, when they was getting ready, for Kenya actual hairline opening, she did say that to Kelly because Kelly was there. They was up there trying to, go through the thing and, get everything together. Okay, fine. Who cares about that? But when they was getting ready, that scene between Charles and Angela, and, she was trying to tell him what was going on and then to bring up the fact that Porsha alluded to something that she heard about Charles and all that stuff. And Charles was like, okay, I don't give a fuck. First of all, I don't know who the hell Porsha is. And why the hell you telling me this shit? Did you take care of it? You got to handle that shit. And then she started telling, and I was with whoever said, don't be bringing up nothing and then don't say what it is. Don't allude to something and don't say what it is. Because that's literally what Porsha did at that dinner. I mean, I heard some things about Charles, but I'm not going to say it just yet. Because you ain't heard shit. And if you did, you just trying to be messy. Tell me what it is, because now I want to know. Like, don't keep me hanging on. But then, when Angela was trying to tell Charles about the situation with her mom and all that stuff, Charles said, okay, and like, what the fuck you want me to do? Why do I need to know about this shit? Baby, the way Charles was just so over it. And I had to literally tweet. I said, you know what? I'm looking at myself because when I tell you, I don't care about that shit. Especially if we not getting along, bitch. I don't want to hear nothing about that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's your family over there. You deal with it. Why are you telling me this? Because I don't care to hear about it. And listen, he was up in there cooking. I don't know why, because I be on TikTok, and Charles and Netta still be popping up on my TikTok. And the whole time, the way that she was hollering for Charles, I just wanted her to say, Charles, your lunch is ready. I really did, but he was the one that was doing the cooking. But anyway, moving on from that, we get to the actual event. Everybody showing up. When Shamia got out that car, and she said, this for Kenya. No, this for me? That shit was funny. I ain't even gonna lie. We're gonna fast forward. Here's my thing. Britt and Kelly, Kelly, she's still being, that's her friend. That's her friend. She's supposed to be there for her friend. Okay? But everybody said that, Britt, you was wrong. Britt trying to say that she know that she was wrong and she owes Kenya an apology and all this stuff, whatever, woo, woo, woo. I don't feel like any of that was sincere. Okay, in the midst of this, we find out that Britt died from a stroke or whatever. I'm gonna be real honest with you, and I know this might sound heartless and insensitive with everything that was going on in this episode and what it was focused on, and given how shit went, bitch, I didn't care. I didn't care. Like, Britt, you turned me off real bad. I did not care to hear that, okay? Sorry that she died, but why do we need to know? Moving on from that, I know somebody gonna feel some type of way, but it is what it is. Some of y'all was thinking the same thing, okay? I'm just seeing what you thinking, because it just felt like y'all threw that up in there just so we can have a little bit of empathy for the girl, because of what was about to happen. But anyway, you got that going on, and I'm gonna be real with you, Britt. You a bold bitch, and you a glutton for punishment and for embarrassment, because ain't no way in hell I would have showed up to another person's event, regardless of if they disinvited me or not. Okay, I wouldn't have showed up after we got into it so tough like that, and I showed my ass. I wouldn't have showed up. Now, had she not shown up, it still would have went down, because she did show up and then she left. But she still shouldn't have showed up. I wouldn't have showed up. But then again, maybe Kenya probably wouldn't have did that if she didn't show up. Because it felt like Kenya saw when that bitch gave her them flowers. She said, how dare this bitch? That's what she was thinking in her head. You can't tell me no different. How dare this bitch? But at the same time, I'm just like, you know what? I wouldn't have showed up. Honestly, you really wanted something to happen, and you knew something was going to pop off. You can't tell me that you did. You watched the show. You know how Kenya is. And even Porsha said, you came on here thinking that, you was ready for Kenya to go back and forth with you and, tear your ass up, but you got a different Kenya today. You got a different Kenya now, okay? But now you done activated the old Kenya. And we know Kenya been in some mess, okay? Listen, I ain't never went this hard for Kenya ever. Because y'all know I couldn't stand Kenya when she first came on this show. I was not listening. Girl, I ain't going to sit here and lie, but right is right and wrong is goddamn wrong. And Britt was wrong in this whole situation, to be quite honest, okay? And Kenya ain't been doing shit to me, and I actually kind of been liking her on the show for the past couple of seasons, so, it is what it is, But at the same time, Britt, you should have kept your ass at home. Kelly, you a friend. You should have said, girl, I think you should sit this out. I don't think that this is the situation and this is the event for you to actually try to talk to this woman and smooth things over. Why do y'all want to do that shit at people events? I know it's for camera time and all that stuff. I don't care if you was on the call sheet. You should have said, listen, bitch, we going to have to sit this out, dock my pay. Okay, because your man got it, right? So you don't need the money. Dock my pay if you got to, because I'm not finna do this. We'll do this at another time. Speaking of Drew and Porsha, that wasn't the time nor place. Y'all just wanted a fucking moment because everybody else was talking. Girl, don't nobody give a shit about y'all situation. Okay, at the end of the day, Porsha doing a lot. Drew, you doing a lot. Y'all don't see it for each other. It's part ways, bitch, because I didn't even give a damn about that. Okay, like, who cares? Over Dennis? She said, you can have your hot dog. I ain't gonna lie, when Drew said that shit, I fell out. I said, Drew. Now, see, Drew got this way of talking to you very kind. That I don't know what you're talking about. Like, like she stepped it up a little bit. I ain't even gonna hold you. Drew had stepped it up a little bit. She done took some notes. She just saying what the peoples was saying about her on social medias, and she just stepped it up a little bit slightly. She been holding her own. She really has. I'm gonna give her that. But bitch, we didn't care about that conversation because y'all dragging it. You're dragging it, and we don't give a damn. And it's over Dennis. Dennis must got some good dick, Porsha. I don't know. But we get into when Britt comes in there. Cynthia's there. And y'all mad at Cynthia. Y'all really mad at Cynthia because Cynthia said that she was disappointed in Kenya and what she did. She was not wrong. I don't give a good goddamn about what happened off screen and she hanging out with this person and all that stuff. Going off of the clip that was going out there, Cynthia was not wrong. And what Cynthia said at the end of the episode, she was completely 100% right. You lowered yourself. You're better than this. You are way better than this. To lower yourself to that bitch standard. Because you went and played in the fucking gutter just to get her ass back. And wound up getting your ass kicked off the fucking show. So who really won? You gave her the fucking power. You gave her the upper hand. Cause yeah, she bucked that shit off. And she came out wrong as shit. And we was all here for everybody named mama, including the girls, knew that the bitch was wrong. But now they done flipped the tide and said, bitch, I can't stand by this shit what you just did. And it wasn't the same. It wasn't okay, we'll get to that. But yeah. So Kenya gets there, like I said, they do the little hair judgment stuff. We saw Derek J. Did we see Derek J? I know we saw Miss Lawrence, okay? We saw a throwback of Derek J. and Miss Lawrence. And, I love the fact that Miss Lawrence was giving Kenya her props and everything. That was a really cute moment. The hair judgment, the hair show, that was cute or whatever. It was giving very much Bridgerton. It was giving Queen Charlotte. It was giving Queen Charlotte. So moving on from that, Britt gets there. And she came up with them flowers. And it's like, I was hoping that you showed up. Why? Why? Because you wanted some mess to happen, bitch. So Britt get there. She gave Kenya the flowers. She was like, here, these are the flowers, and I just want to apologize, and we could talk. Oh, so you don't want to talk? That's fine. That's fine. You want to ignore me? That's fine. I said, bitch, you can't feel no type of way. You cannot feel, I don't care if, listen, you came up into her space, you said all of that, and you really thought that's some flowers, and, and at one point, Britt gonna say, I was hoping that, we could talk about it and then we could possibly be friends afterwards. This wasn't at the thing, but this was before. And I said, friends? Friends? That's how I know this girl delusional as hell. Ain't no way in hell. Okay? Like, you got Porsha telling you how it was when her and her were going back and forth. Y'all will never be friends. And I don't think they cool now. Because Porsha is the main one, since y'all talking about, oh, well, Cynthia was hanging out with Britt. Oh, the fuck what? Kenya and Cynthia has an up and down friendship, okay? They fall out, they be cool, they fall out, they be cool. They will be fine, okay? Yeah, they haven't spoken to each other in almost a year. That's because Kenya up in her feelings about this whole shit. And after a while, she'll be fine. Is Cynthia out here, being besties with this girl? Absolutely the fuck not. No. Okay, yeah, she invited her someplace. All right, that's fine. That's one thing. But then you got Porsha, she kicking it with Britt. She commented on all her stuff, whatever. And I'm pretty sure when Kenya posted that thing on her Instagram last week and she put traitor, #traitor, she was talking about Porsha, okay? And the reason why, ain't nobody saying nothing about Porsha because Kenya and Porsha never were friends. So, really, honestly, you can't even be mad at Porsha for doing that because at the end of the day, y'all cordial. Y'all not friends and you never were friends. You're no longer on the show, so she ain't got to have the shit no more. She fuck with Britney, and that's just what it is, okay? Everybody can do what the fuck they want to do, and if Kenya don't want to fuck with Cynthia just because of that and because she told her the truth or whatever, then that's on her, and that's her right. If Cynthia feel like she did nothing wrong, that's her right. I don't feel like Cynthia did anything fucking wrong, okay? At the end of the day, it is what it is. Moving on from that, Britt got there, gave her them damn flowers, and she was like, oh, you can go ahead and keep on ignoring me, and so she left out. You should never showed up, okay? And so everybody come back up in there, and see, this is where shit goes left, and I jumped off the train of being on Kenya's side. I am totally here for a get back. I am totally here for making a bitch feel like shit because this is reality TV. We know how the formula goes, okay? We know tit for tat happens and all of that shit. But I like it when the shit is equal. Now, Kenya, you literally got up here, and this is what makes me get off the train with Kenya, and I have to get in her a little bit because when I say I'm totally, totally disappointed, I'm totally, totally disappointed. And when Cynthia said you are better than that, that's how I felt as well. Because I felt you lowered yourself to a standard that you have not been in a long time. Just to get back to this bitch. Okay? You let a newbie come in who ain't got shit going for herself on TV or nothing or whatever. You are established. You have a goal. You put your whole life's worth into trying to open up this salon, have your business get off the ground. You put up a speech and you talking about how you want this to be for your daughter and show her this example and all this stuff. And then you veer off and you make the end of that speech all about people fucking with you. And then you turn it to Brit. You telling a group of people that were not even there about something that happened. For what? Why would you do that? I can see if Brit stayed there and you went on ahead and you did that, she wasn't even in the building when you did it. So that makes it just dumb as shit that you did it like that. Again, hear me clear. If Brit would have stayed, then I would have been like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it, because you want to embarrass that bitch because that bitch embarrassed the fuck out of you. You did embarrass her, but you also embarrassed yourself. And you cost yourself to get the fuck up off this show. Okay, you really did, and that's messed up. That's one of those situations where that was premeditated because you thought that out. When it comes to, and again, I hate to even have to defend this lady, but when it comes to Brit, her saying that comment about the pistols and shit, I don't believe that was premeditated. That was in the heat of the moment because she was upset. She got herself so upset because she's stupid. That's just what it is. And once again, when we upset, we say some things sometimes. We let shit come out because we upset, bitch. Sometimes we mean that shit, sometimes we don't. Okay? I truly feel like she let that shit come out just by accident. She at one point, she ain't know what the fuck she was saying. Okay? I ain't really trying to make no excuses for her. But with Kenya, you literally had people and probably yourself look up information about this girl. Blow up a poster, get multiple poster boards, blow up pictures and paste it and all this stuff, get all of this information and everything. So now that you can know who this bitch was. And then that last post of her sucking dick, because somebody said, I don't want to see nobody sucking dick. That was wrong. And I get why some people say it's not revenge porn because it's already out there. That's semantic to what you can. That's not the problem with me. Okay. My issue is, because again, if it was already out there, because they said that she was a cam girl. So 9 out of 10. It was already out there. So a lot of people have already probably seen her sucking dick. So that's why a lot of people saying, I don't believe that it's revenge porn because it was already out there. But it crossed a line. That last one crossed a line. Okay. And then, you did it and you really put all the focus from you opening up your salon and your hard work, and it got overshadowed by you making it all about her. You made it all about her. You made a fucking rookie mistake and you a fucking veteran. You know better, bitch. You let that bitch get to you, and that is what disappointed me so much. Because, Kenya wouldn't have did that shit. Kenya would have been, she would have been very much more calculated than this. She wouldn't have let that bitch knock her off her square the way that you did. What the fuck, Kenya? That really fucking disappointed me so bad. I'm sitting here like, and I ain't even gonna sit here and hold y'all. Listen, if I would have been in attendance and I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and then all of a sudden this shit, and I'm listening to the speech and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Bitch, would I have got up and left like Kelly? Absolutely not, because this ain't got shit to do with me. Bitch, I'm here for the tea, okay? I would have been gagging. I would have been like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then I still would have been disappointed because I've been like, damn, Kenya, you better than this, bitch. Why would you do this? This is about your opening and you made it about this bitch. But at the same time, be like, whoa, okay? And I still would have been disappointed. I could be both. And I can be honest. Some of y'all not being honest with yourself. Some of y'all act like y'all would have been just so disappointed and just so mad at her. No, I would have been disappointed and I would have been gagging at the same time like, oh my God, give me more. But this is a little bit much. But what the fuck? Kenya, I'm so disappointed that you would do this, okay? You literally let that lady take your moment. You let her take your moment, okay? And that for me is the issue. I don't give a fuck about the get back. It's the fact that you let her take your moment. I really feel like you probably could have did this at another time. Even if you wanted to show that last slide, you probably should have did this at another time. Because now no one is talking about Kenya Moore Hair Salon. They're talking about the incident that happened there on the opening. And the pure focus should be on the opening of your baby, your business, your brick and mortar business, okay? That's what it is. And I feel like that incident probably did some damage to probably, is people going to her store, to her salon. Like, I really hope that y'all understand where I'm coming from. Like, I get a tit for tat. I'm not saying that, get back is wrong or whatever. I personally have an issue with the fact that you let that bitch get to you that bad, that you had to literally go out your way and waste your fucking ink and paper and buy poster boards and waste your time and energy. You said you got people to look up stuff. That's premeditated, baby. That you knew what you was gonna do. You knew what you was gonna do. Okay? Compared to what Britt did, that bitch, that shit wasn't premeditated. That wasn't premeditated. But you knew. You knew. You wanted to embarrass that bitch. I get it. Because I would have got back at her ass too. But you did it in the wrong way. You did it in the wrong way. Well, wrong time, I should say. That's how I feel. Wrong time. And I see why they kicked you off. But at the same time, Britt should have been punished too. Britt should have been punished too. She should have been punished too. I really do. At least suspended her for a few episodes or whatever. Or even take her off for the rest of the season too. I don't know. But something should have happened to her as well. I don't think it's equal. And that's the issue too that I have as well. But yeah, Kenya, I'm just really disappointed that you let that lady knock you off your square like that. Her. Girl. But anyway, you guys tell me how y'all felt about it. I know y'all gonna have some shit to say. Again, Britt was fucking wrong. Kenya was fucking wrong. I'm disappointed. Fuck Britt at this point. I told y'all. I said, you know what? And you got to go back. Because when we was talking about this before the show even came on, I said, Brenda, like, she going to be the one that I probably want to like, but she going to piss me the fuck off. And sure the fuck right. I was right, bitch. She couldn't even let me like her before she pissed me off. Get her off the show, okay? Get her off the show. But anyway, that is it. I ain't got nothing else to say. Y'all enjoy the rest. Well, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Hey, y'all be nice to each other in the comments. I ain't censoring. I ain't patrolling. Girl, y'all have at it, but y'all be respectful to each other. And please be respectful to me, okay? Because I ain't got no dog in the fight, baby. That's just my opinion, okay? I know it's going to be people that got different opinions, but baby, y'all... Right, Team 12, comment down. Is it Team Britt up in the comments? Why? Anyway. Y'all tell me how y'all feel, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.